Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel here with two rookies, the latest members of parliament, Stephen Kariuki from Madara constituency and Moses Kuria from Gatundu South. Stephen Kariuki used to be known as K1. I want to know why. Does he own the club?
Kenya 1, very patriotic.
Kenya 1.
Yeah, very patriotic. Very patriotic.
Okay, Maurice Kilumuli says K1 seems to be playing safe and soft. Politics is a rough game. Hope you got what it takes.
I do. I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't have what it takes. So.
You heard that, Maurice, okay? ODM alert, media alert. I love this. Mr. Heckler, Moses Kuria, how do you feel not being the people's choice, but the only option?
Yeah, the best option. The only option, the best option.
The better option.
The best option. The only option, the best option.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels great to be the best option. To represent all the people, 59,000. You know, this guy got a lot of votes. You know, I was there.
Yes.
And this guy won fair and square.
He did?
Yeah, you know, after I got gazetted, I thought of spending the time I was left and some resources that I was left with, campaigning in Madare.
Yeah.
So I went 2-3 days of rigorous work throughout the constituency. In fact, I only stopped when I heard that he had stepped down. I don't know what had happened for him to step down, but that's a story for another day. But
did you think when Johi was going to win?
Well, I tried your best. I tried my best and the team that I had, and by the time we moved in, K1 was quite
ahead.
It was quite ahead. So we did a hell of a job there trying to catch.
I'm glad you acknowledge that from the other side of the political divide. That's
that's
a compliment.
K1, let me tell you something. Our party believes in the rule of law. Yeah. We believe in institutions. Today I was really putting my ears on the ground, expecting your party leaders to call a press conference and denounce your victory because it has been managed by IEBC. I was expecting someone like Koinange to say IEBC, ODM, IEBC. We believe that if you win, you win. We don't have to walk to the game with our own referee and like your party.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really hope the lesson has been learned here. That the same IBC that they are demonizing has delivered victory for K1. That's my one thing. I'll come back to you. Now, second one is losing is painful, really. I felt some pain when Johi lost. And I wonder how his party has been managing to lose all that time. Is it the same pain that I felt on that day?
Let me correct you on that one.
Yes.
IEBC have had to conduct an election in Madare twice to get it right. Okay? Now, the reason we're making noise about IEBC is because an election is not an affair. You have to do it twice to get it right. You have one opportunity, you conduct it once, you get it right. Otherwise, you should not be in that office.
Yes.
So we're not denouncing them. We're saying this time they did a good job. Not because I won, but because everything was put in place, the systems were in place, the BVRs were working, the Form 35s were sufficient, there's documentation. If anyone wanted to counter-check what was done, there's full documentation. In the last election, it was a total mess, my friend. We had myself been declared a winner with documentation to go with it, and 2 days later, another certificate being issued on the side of the roads.
But let me ask you this, Mheshimiwa. If you had lost 2 days ago, you would have been up in arms, eh? You'd have been calling for IBC to be disbanded.
Not necessarily, as long as they did free and fair, transparent election, which they did. And I was ready, and I told them, if I lose, I'm ready to accept as long as everything was done in the right manner. Yeah.
Assuming, let's give him the benefit of doubt, that IBC got it wrong in 2013. Assuming they got it wrong. You don't have to get it right all the time. So the process...
That is where you're wrong.
No.
In an election, when you're the referee, you have to get it right.
So why did you petition?
Because they got it wrong.
Precisely my point.
Because they got it wrong.
When something is gotten wrong, this is what I'm saying here, K1. If an institution gets it wrong, our constitution, our beloved constitution, which you campaigned against the other time. It provides for mechanisms for fixing that. And I think if they got it wrong in 2013, there is a judiciary. You went to how many courts? I am not sure. You went to 3 courts,
yes.
And at the end of the 3 courts, you're given another chance.
Yes.
You go back to IBC, they get it wrong. So we need to believe in continuous improvement of our institutions, of our electoral processes.
Let me ask you. We have about 15 million voters in the country.
Yeah, plus minus.
Registered voters, approximately. India has about 570 million
plus
voters. And they do and conduct elections over a period of about 90 days.
3 months.
Continuously.
Yeah.
Continuously. The results are relayed within 4 hours from the time the elections are closed. 4 hours. 570 million voters. Results are relayed in 4 hours. Without an error, without any bickering back and forth. Free, fair, and transparent.
So how long have they conducted this?
15 million voters in this day and age as a country. I mean,
right.
seriously, we cannot get it right.
Okay,
Something is wrong.
Let me ask you this. Would you still want IBC to be disbanded?
I would want IBC to be disbanded and changed for it to reflect a better, more transparent institution. And the systems that they put in place should be 100%. No room for error. Let the people of Kenya decide in elections. That is what we should give the Kenyans.
Your thoughts, Mheshimiwa?
I think from just Madale's example is a perfect example of first time somebody's agreed, go to the courts rule, go back to elections, mistakes are fixed, BVR works, technology works, we move on. If you believe in evolution, not revolution, you can see we are making, gradual process in our electoral system. But you can't come every day, we now just disband systems instead of improving on the same.
Let me tell you.
Honestly speaking, I don't think this is a partisan
issue. When the BVRs were being procured, they were not being procured for a by-election in 2014. The BVRs were being procured for the general election in 2013. They should have been ready for the general election in 2013. The systems should have been put in place for that election. And they were not.
But let's face it, they were very late in procuring them. They were very late in arriving. Remember, and it was that coalition government then.
Led
which
by
a lot
Prime
of people
Minister,
late.
yes,
Watu wengi walikula. And they didn't get it right. And the final cost was something like 8 billion shillings.
Yeah, precisely.
100 million US.
Jeff, what I'm talking about here is continuous improvement. Let's build always on what we have.
Okay.
To hope to deliver a better tomorrow all the time.
And
not every time. There's no machine or remote control that you can press today to take us back to 2013.
And continuous improvement means changing the system for better. For you to change the system for better, the players who are controlling the systems must be rearranged in one way or another.
And I beg to differ.
John Githanga says, now that it was a walkover for you, do you feel you owe Gatondo people any reciprocation?
What are you reciprocating? I am Gatondo people myself. How are you reciprocating to who? I am Gatondo people. I am one of them. Did you know something also, Jeff?
Go on.
In this bench, 67% of the residents of this bench are from Gatondo.
Two-thirds.
He is from Gatondo. He's from a place called Koinange.
Yes.
Why not for Madale robbing me of one of my voters? He's from Gatondo, and I'm going to represent his Shosho's interest down there. So you see how, ask him.
You are both from Gatondo.
Oh, yes, we are.
Look at this, man.
Yeah, we are from Gatondo.
Different sides of political divide.
Yeah.
Yes. Different constituencies.
Yes, and that's how sensible Gatondo people are. That's how democratic we are. That's when we decide today we are not going to vote. We are going to have a member of parliament. We decide.
We'll have a selection, not an election.
Well. That is Gatondo people for you. Kwani?
I asked you a question before the break, both of you. I said the one thing you're going to promise your constituents and you will deliver and we can hold you accountable for. You first.
I'll create jobs. I'll make young people useful. I'll make them productive. I'll integrate them into the economy. I'm already working on a system of water for irrigation where every youth who can work is going to be gainfully employed. Not just about the white-collar jobs, but getting some money in the
Every
pocket.
youth who can be employed.
Every youth who can get a jembe and go to the farm and grow some cabbages and some tomatoes, because we're just next to Nairobi. 45 minutes drive through the new Thika Road. Every youth who wants an opportunity, I will deliver it for them.
One thing.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa.
People-oriented leadership. The power belongs to the people, the resources belong to the people. I'm their manager, I'm their servant. Go back to the people, have CDF committees at every ward level, make sure we are mashinani and give the people what they want. People-oriented leadership.
34 years old, man. I mean, look, what are you giving yourself? 10 years, 20 years in this business? I mean, can you last the whole hog?
The people of Mathare will decide. The people of this great nation, Kenya, will decide. And I'm ready to serve my people, and I'm ready to serve this country for as long as they need me.
How about you, man? I mean, look, you just got the umeangukia hii kitu. How do you feel, man? How long can you do it?
Kwa nini wewe haukuangukia? If it's kuangukia, si hata uangukia. You know, it doesn't come that way, my friend, you know. Kuna kuangukia hapo. You want to be lucky, you have to work hard, okay?
Yes.
That's the rule of the game. You know? But I think I want to go on and on and on and on as God may allow me. And I love the job, my friend. You know, my workstation, when I'm not in parliament, it will be in Gatundu South. That's where I'm working from. That's my office. That's why I go and make tea and mandazi in the morning and start working from morning to evening.
Both of you are going to deliver your maiden speeches tomorrow, yes?
Yeah.
Most probably.
Most probably?
Yeah, most probably.
What are you going to say?
Well, without getting the sugar out of the speech, I want to dedicate it to Gatundu people. I want to thank them, and I want to lay out my vision for what I want to do for them. But of course, remind my good friends from the other side that if we play by the same rules, you'll be fine. If we don't, you are up for trouble.
But you?
Same thing, address my people of Mathare, and also touch on a few national issues, and also let our friends on the other side of the divide understand that we're here to build one Kenya, to build one amazing nation for our people. The issues we're raising and fighting for, we're doing it because of our future generations, not for ourselves. I'm looking forward to the day where we can go vote. You leave your office and you go vote down the road electronically, go back to your office and continue with your business. And you know it will be free and fair. I'm looking forward to days like that, where the people of Kenya, as per the constitution, the power belongs to them, let them decide.
Yeah. People were saying, finally TNA has an attack dog. For lack of a better phrase, I didn't say it. Finally, someone to stand up.
I will stand up. Call it a dog or a cat or a hyena, I will stand up. And I will not allow mischief from the other side. That one you can take to whichever bank you bank. That I am TNA, I am Jubilee, and I'm going to do everything possible to protect the ideals of my party. And I believe in party system.
Would you support us if we were fronting a good agenda?
Of course, and that's what I told my good friend Midewo. I told him, how can you explain that my good friend Duale has, you know, any MP any side can present bills. Mm-hmm. In the life of this 11th parliament, Duale has presented 63 bills. Francis Nyenze from CORD has presented 0 bills. 63-0, even in American football, is a thrashing. You know, what can explain that? You know, so, and I am telling them, don't just fear the tyranny of numbers. Bring them on. I'll tell you some of the bills which cannot be supported by even my party or my side. I would support out of conscience if something good. If this discussion is about issues, as K1 said it from the beginning, count me to do what is right.
So if an issue is touching on a national matter, and it's positive,
please
and it's
bring
presented before the House
on
by a CORD or
you will support.
You will support.
Certainly.
Keep this on record.
This is definitely on record.
Definitely support it. The problem is that there's nothing they present. Now 63-0.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, what about a referendum? This referendum they talk about. You going to support?
You know what?
If they come up with 2 questions that you...
There's something that K1 and I have share in common other than coming from Gatundu. In 2005, I'm sure he was involved in the first referendum from the orange side.
Yes. Correct.
I was involved from the banana side.
You were the bananas.
Which was a yes, and he was in the no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come to 2010. I think you are in the north side.
I still remained in the north.
And again I was on the
Yes.
west side. Now this year we are supposed to have another referendum. 3 referenda in 9 years. What else can you do as a country? Is referenda, the first one was a breakfast, the second one was lunch. This one is supposed to be dinner. Do we have anything else to do? Can't we do something meaningful with our life? You know, no matter what the merit is, in between that we had 2007 to 2013. So in 9 years, this is supposed to be our 5th national election. What is this?
I wish you
What
could
is
look,
this?
I
Do
wish
these
you
people
could
sleep with
look
ballot
at
boxes in their bedrooms? Is that all they do?
I wish you could look at the issues rather than the event.
Right.
A referendum is an event. Why don't you address the issues and
No,
say
but surely,
these
are we
points
the only
are not
country?
valid because of ABCD?
K1, my brother, is this the only country where we have issues for us to have 5 elections in 9 years, including 3 referenda?
Give me another country to compare
Yeah?
with.
No, let's take Europe for example. Since they voted for the euro,
Yes.
and the euro was voted for in 1997,
Yes.
that's when they were voting for the euro. There has not been another referendum or that. In the US, for as long as I've known that system, the only time they have referenda is during the general elections where they put some questions alongside that. Because they do appreciate and they
Now,
do
can I
acknowledge
correct
that a
you?
country has
Let
to
me
work,
correct
that
you.
people have got something that you know, actually is not a cup of porridge that you take every morning.
All those democracies you have mentioned are over 200 years old in the democratic space. They have developed over that time. We are about 50 years old. We are still developing. 200 years from now, we don't expect the same type of political activity.
Gentlemen, before we go to break, I'm going to read Akango Esquire's tweet. He says, ask Kuria, how many of those 63 bills you're talking about have helped Kenya?
You know, it's better 63 not helping than 0. No, surely. Huh? 63 bills have moved Kenya forward.
That is the problem we have.
Gonjiri Wambogo says, Gonjiri, how you doing? I like these guys, Moses Kuria and Stephen Kariuki. This is the next generation of MPs. Kenya can only get better. Llewellyn Amigo says, Honorable Moses Kuria and S. Kariuki, K1, go K1, Roho Ju Baba.
Kabisa.
Well done, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to take a break, come back. Let's look to the future. Because that's what, you mentioned that a moment ago. What you're doing is not for you,
Nope.
it's for future generations. And you, Mweshimiwa, how much more heckling can you do in the house of selected people? At Honorable Moses Kuria, at Kariuki K1, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag is JKL. We're having a discussion. Remember, they are both on opposite sides of the political divide. And yet, they are somehow making sense. Kind of makes you want to say, maybe it's because they're both from Gatundu. Part of the enterprise. Oh no, you didn't say that. JKL takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.